It will pretend that it's human. First shared publicly October 11, 2016 on reddit.com/r/nosleep. You'll especially want to read this warning if you work any night shifts. That's how it started with me. I'm a waitress at a restaurant that stays open past midnight, and I guess I first saw the creature around 2:30 a.m. on a Wednesday morning. It was in the parking lot, smoking a cigarette. Well, not smoking exactly. It was just pressing the filter against its teeth now and again, letting the ash build up and not even bothering to purse its lips. Its wide, searching eyes found me as I passed by on the way to my car. I was walking alone because my town is small and safe. But even in its disguise, the thing I now passed on my way home frightened me immediately. I thought it was just a man, of course, or I would not have even approached so closely in the first place. He, as I will refer to the creature for the sake of convenience, appeared at first like a normal line cook relaxing after his shift. He wore slightly soiled chef's whites, and kitchen-appropriate shoes in which he seemed to be stretching some ache out of one foot and then the other. He was several paces behind me when he spoke up. The voice that came out rasped to the point that it was more like a choking wheeze, but I'm almost certain of what he said.
Move quick like a bunny, but soon I'll be through.
Then came a gurgling, watery breath. He continued,
I promise, I'm quicker than you.
When I turned, he was staring off in another direction, still pretending to smoke. I hurried into my car and drove. It was about 15 minutes back to my apartment, and I wouldn't say I made the trip slowly at all. In fact, I'm quite certain I didn't. But he was already there. My place stands at the top of a steep hill on which only a single set of stairs is built to guide people up. I was at the bottom of these stairs when I saw him. His chef's whites glowed almost incandescently in the darkness of the rural pre-dawn. Somehow he had beaten me here, or else just arrived moments after I did. Either way, he was just across the street and now looking my way. I began to hustle my way up the stairs, moving as quickly as I could without breaking into a full sprint. His position across the street was still a good distance away, and I felt relatively sure that he could not close the gap before I was inside. Still, as I moved up the stairs I readied my key to the front door in my hand, and swung the door open and then shut behind me in a single motion. The click of the deadbolt reassured me, and I leaned against the now secured entryway for a moment to catch my breath. I was brushing my teeth upstairs when I heard a loud tapping against my bedroom window all the way from down the hall. My place is on the second floor, and there's a tree outside with limbs that sometimes knock against the glass, so I told myself that it was certainly nothing. Still, my nerves were raw and the steady tapping went on for about 30 minutes. I watched a cartoon to distract myself, and left the blinds closed all night. The next day as I was leaving for work, my neighbor Sarah stopped me in the hall and told me her security camera recorded something strange last night. The expression on her face made it clear that it wasn't something I would want to see. You should really take a look. Right now, if you can, she said. Her voice was heavy with barely restrained urgency, and I felt that she was only seeking a little outside encouragement before allowing herself to become wild with fear. In that moment, her demeanor made the prospect of facing whatever she wanted to show me too terrifying to even consider. I was already running late, and so I told her I'd come see it as soon as I got home from work. Her reply came in the form of a hesitant murmur, as if she didn't quite know what to say to me. Be careful tonight, she finally chirped. And, like that, she was back inside her apartment with the door locked. As I was leaving the building, I turned to face the security camera which had apparently seen something worrisome last night as I was coming home. It was installed up high, in a nook-like corner formed by the front door's frame meeting the overhang roof above it. As my eyes wandered upward, I also noticed a handprint on the rain gutter which ran up the side of the building a few feet away from where I stood. The imprint, formed in displaced grime on the metal surface, marked a hand that had been maybe a little more than 8 feet off the ground when it reached out to steady itself. My mind hadn't put it all together yet. I dismissed the print as being from some repairman bracing himself on a ladder. I didn't see the strange man again that night at work, but I did receive a single phone call to the restaurant which frightened me badly. The line connected with a clunky check, a half-second after I picked up, and the call quality was very poor. It was as if someone was calling from a deteriorated, decades-old landline. That raspy voice was in my ear again, and this time it said only this.
First night, I go easy. Head start, light jog.
Then came that check sound again, followed by a dial tone. I left my car in the parking lot when my shift was done, and called for a ride instead. This way, at least, I would have someone nearby when I reached my front door. Sarah was still awake when I got in, and seemed to have been waiting up for me. I already sent a copy to the police, she stammered. I decided. It's necessary. You need to come watch this, right now. So I went inside and sat down at her computer desk. The security camera had been mounted such that it showed only the area immediately outside the front door. This included maybe half of the stairway as it wandered its way down the hill. The clip she queued up was only about 30 seconds long, and the paused first frame on her screen showed me already coming up the stairs. In the first 5 seconds of the video I'm hustling towards the door, throwing it open, and then shutting it behind me. At the 8-second mark, the man in the chef's whites is in frame, bounding up the stairs on all fours. It had crossed the street and closed the distance between us to nothing in the time it took me to get halfway up the stairs. If I had looked back, I would have seen it, that thing, skittering towards me hand over foot like some kind of giant beetle in full sprint. Its eyes probably still rolled around in that eager way I saw them roll that first night in the parking lot. Its teeth probably were still bared like I remember, framed by motionless and peeled back lips like when it was pretending to smoke. If I had looked back over my shoulder for even a moment, I would have seen it, and screamed, and stumbled then fallen over, and that would have been the end of me. The remaining 20 seconds of video show the creature straightening out its body to stand. Then the thing in chef's whites presses itself close to the door. It's a gesture of careful examination, and as I watch I'm suddenly sure that I'm watching it sniff me out. It knows I'm only inches away, with my back pressed against the other side of a flimsy pine door. In the final moments of the clip, the creature does not turn back towards the stairs to leave. Instead, it wanders off sideways towards an area still atop the hill but no longer within the camera's view. He doesn't ever come back to the door or to use the stairs, Sarah explained in a trembling whisper. I think maybe he tried to sneak around back to find another way inside. But I was barely listening anymore. My mind was suddenly fixated on the memory of rhythmic tapping outside my second-story window, and on the handprint left in grime more than 8 feet off the ground. It didn't go around, I said. It went straight up. I'm carrying pepper spray with me at all times now, and I've done what I can to add helpful details to the police report that Sarah began. But nothing silences the memory of what that thing first said to me.
Move quick like a bunny, but soon I'll be through. I promise, I'm quicker than you.